Hi, welcome back to Repairing Lawnmowers for Profit. Just thought I'd do a little update because I've just had a bit of a result on a couple of items I showed you in a previous video. Before I show you the items, I just want to show you this lawnmower here. Now this one is one I got down from the auction the other week. I'm not sure if I've showed it in a previous video. This has gone from being one of the lawnmowers that's given me the most difficulty recently to one of my favourite ones, because it absolutely runs like a dream now. Got the grass box for it, and with a little bit of tidying up, as you can see I've just polished it up a little bit. I'm going to list this one on eBay. Now I've regularly get lawnmowers in, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this will pull a pull cord. It'll try and rip your arm off. I mean, it really hurts your fingers, you know, when you've got serious kickback. Now normally I don't have a problem repairing that, because normally, if you're having problems with your mower, at the top there'll be under the flywheel, if you remove the flywheel, there'll be a keyway in there, and if the keyway is broken, that can knock the timing out. And there's also a keyway underneath on the crankshaft that could be damaged as well. If either one of those is damaged, it would normally knock the timing of the engine out, and when you pull the pull cord, that would cause it to kick back and rip the rope out of your hands. But with this mower, I checked it over and both the keyways were okay. I also drained all the oil out of it because there seemed to be a bit of excess oil in it. Yet it still kicked back. So I had a new recoil, so I put that one on. It needed a new one in anyway, so it's got a new starter recoil. I thought that would solve it. It still ripped back out of my hand. And I paid £100 for this at auction. I think it was last Saturday. And I thought, well, I can't sell it like that, because if someone comes to start this, you know, if he says I'll try and start it, how can you start it for me? And it does that, they're gonna walk away, or you know, one of us is gonna get injured. So I had to fix it to sell it. Now, one little tip I've got for you, if just from learning this week really, is that when you pull in the cord, at certain points it'll be free, and at certain points it'll stick and try and rip it out of your hand. Now, if you take all the covers off, quite difficult to show you on this one because there's a lot of covers on it, and I've tidied it up ready for sale. But if you take all the covers off so you can turn the flywheel by hand, this is how I fixed it. Now, leaving the spark plug in, you can tell what compression you've got there. You'll get the compression when you turn the flywheel. If you take the plug out, it'll easily spin no matter what's happening with the engine. So leave the spark plug in for this occasion. And what I did is I took the valve cover off to keep my eye on the valves. Even though I had previously set and checked them, it was still ripping out of my hand. I'd done that first. But leave the spark plug in and turn the flywheel the correct way, the way the cord would pull it, not the opposite way. And I kept my eye on the valves. You've got your inlet valve at the top and your exhaust one that's at the bottom. Now, as I turned it, the intake valve opened and closed fine, and on the top of the flywheel it rotated fine. But I noticed that as I rotated it on the top of the flywheel, it became really difficult to turn, really tight to turn, just as the exhaust valve was going to open. So even though these valves were set to the right specification, I had to tighten the exhaust valve in a little bit more, just to make it open up a little bit quicker, just a tiny bit, so it could release some of the compression through the exhaust. And once I'd done that, I basically checked it over, and it was a little bit thinner than it should be on the feeler gauge, but it felt nice to turn over them, even with the spark plug in. There was no, I won't say no resistance, there was still some compression, but it felt better. So I put it back together, and basically pulled the cord. There was no ripping it out of my hand, everything was smooth, and it started up absolutely fantastic. So I did a little bit of tinkering from there just to make it run right, and basically now every time I pull the pull cord on this machine, it pulls smoothly. So this is a little tip. If you've got a lawnmower that kicks back and you've checked both of your flywheel keys and basically checked there isn't too much oil in it, and obviously the number one thing to check also as well is that the blade isn't loose or really out of balance, because that could do it. But this was kicking back so hard I wasn't sure what it was. But if you've got a lawnmower that kicks back and both your flywheel keys are okay, take a look at your valves if it's got an overhead valve or an overhead cam, and just turn it. Leave the spark plug in and just turn it by hand, and if there's any resistance there, too much resistance, that will cause kickback. There's too much compression basically between the head of the engine and the piston moving up and down. The air basically can't compress when it should, and it will fire back and pull this cord out of your hand. So anybody with a mower like that, you might be grateful to know that if your flywheel keys are okay and you set the valves, you could be looking to keep your lawnmower for a little bit longer. So just while I'm here, I've just had, this is a similar lawnmower. I got this one from the auction at the same time, both off the same guy, both big Mountfield mowers. That one's got a rear roller on, that one had no problems, that started up nice and simple. But I've just sold that one. I paid £100 for both of these, I mean £100 each that is, but I've just sold that one over there tonight. He's just paid actually, as I pick it out of my pocket, he's just paid that one. What's he got on here, this one? £185, there's some eBay fees on that, so I sold this one on eBay, so I'll lose £18.50 on that. You can do the maths if you want, but I've made about £50 on that lawnmower, not a great deal. I've still got another one to sell, but I've also had a result on this little generator, so I've started doing a few of these recently. Now, I was a little bit unsure of generators. I've not had a lot to do with them in the past, although the engines basically have the same faults unless it's something deep inside that I don't yet know enough about, but basically filled it with petrol and listed this. Now, I said on a previous video it was £48 from the auction, which it was, and I picked this up using the auction reaping method, as I've mentioned, on Martin Butler's UK IMS website, which is a fantastic DVD called Auction Reaper. £48 I paid for this, doing some research before I bid it at auction, and I'll just show you on here. From £48 I've just sold this one tonight. He's coming to pick it up and pay cash on Wednesday night. He's just paid there £116.50. So from two items basically going to the auction on Saturday, I've already made £100 auction reaping, and I've also got still to sell, sorry, sold that one, this one over here. So on the shower, of course, I've got bids on that as well. I got that from the auction. That's already at £11, which is more than double what I paid from it. So auction reaping lawnmowers for profit is certainly one idea, but the generators are coming on nice as well. So just a little tip, anyway, back to the mowers, just a little tip for anyone who's having serious kickback, seriously ripping it out their arms and not sure what it is because they've checked it over. Take a look at the valves. If you don't know how to set them, take a look on my website at repairinglawnmowersforprofit.com. There's a DVD for sale on there under the title Honda Repair Manual DVD. It's not the Briggs one, because the Briggs one's filmed on this engine with the valves that you have to grind down as well, which is a little bit more difficult and more unusual to set the valves on. But the Honda DVD available for sale on there will show you how to set the valves on this mower. Very similar mower with a Honda engine. It's basically the same principle. So once you know that little tip and trick, if you pick a lawnmower up to repair for profit, basically if it's got strong kickback and you're not sure how to do it, you're not sure how to set the valves, you could look at that DVD and all the information you will need is on there. So thanks for watching. I think with the few quid I've just earned, I've treated myself to a pint now, so it is Saturday night. It's a nice night. I'm going to have a walk out. In fact, I might even go on my bike. Just while I'm here actually, does anybody else's wife buy de-icer every time they go shopping? It's ridiculous. Screen wash? No, just me then. Okay then, thanks for watching. I'll be back shortly with some more repair videos. I'm going to get, all these are on eBay now, or they've been sold privately, but most of them have gone on eBay. That's my own. So I've got nothing in here to do apart from tidy up tonight, which I don't want to do. Everything is either on for sale or sold. So I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up, and tonight I'm going to go out, I'm going to have a quick pint. I'm going to come back and watch some of this Olympics. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, I'll see you again shortly.